Video opens to a stage. On the left side of the stage is a podium. Standing at the podium is NIB Board of Directors member Eric Stuckrath.
Now I'd like to introduce one of our valued partners and someone whom I got to know very well when he was a former CEO at the Lighthouse for the Blind in Seattle. He was also an NIB board member, and he became president and CEO of the American Foundation for the Blind last year. He remains a very strong partner and proponent of the work we're doing. Please help me welcome Mr. Kirk Adams.
Kirk Adams enters from the right-hand side of the stage.
For any other blind people coming up today, there's plants on the stage. So. Okay. So good morning. Man, it's good to be here. You can't know. So again, I'm Kirk Adams. I am president of the American Foundation for the Blind. For those of you who can't see me, I'm untelescoping my cane, if that's a word, and I got a Braille sense here on the podium with a few notes. So I am the 6th president of AFB. I'm happy to say I'm the 6th blind president of AFB. Thank you. For those of you who don't know much about AFB, we have a website I invite you to visit, afb.org. We are a private nonprofit. We were created in 1921 by the professional associations in the blindness field to be a central nonprofit agency to identify, understand, and address the most important issues affecting the lives of people who are blind. And like all of you in this room, we're working hard to create a world of no limits for people who are blind and visually impaired. Everyone associated with the Ability One program and National Industries for the Blind and associated agencies knows this, that like all human beings, blind people have unlimited potential to achieve, to create, to live fulfilling lives. Prior to AFB, as Eric mentioned, I was at the Lighthouse for the Blind in Seattle. I visited many sister agencies over the 16 years I was there. Most recently, in April this year, I visited CABV in Cincinnati for the first time. So, I know firsthand the amazing work that you all do. And the employees of the year in the room are just living proof that there are no limits to blind people's talent and ambition and creativity and courage and compassion. But the reality remains, and it's remained before and since 1921 when AFB was founded, that limits are being placed on us, blind people, in the forms of barriers to inclusion in nearly every aspect of life. We all know that blind people face barriers to equal employment opportunities, to educational and healthcare services, to transportation systems, to electronic information and resources. And at AFB, we're working hard to understand why and how these limits are being imposed on blind people and what we can do about it. So I know every blind person in this room has had a limit placed upon them at some point. Last night, during the reception, I saw my friend Lisa from Beacon Lighthouse and my friend Ursula from Seattle and Elsie from Lighthouse Central Florida. And, I know how each of them and all of you have had to battle and fight to overcome barriers. And of course, I've experienced my own share. And just one little example, when I was a senior in high school, first day, went carrying 40 pounds of Braille textbooks. I went to my math analysis class, then I went to my physics class, and then I went to chemistry class. And the chemistry teacher said, you are not going to be able to take chemistry. It's not something a blind person can do. I was sent out of the classroom and assigned to a study hall, case closed. Now, of course, I've met successful blind chemists. I know. I know that was a limit that was placed upon me. That didn't need to be. I didn't know any blind people. I didn't know any blind role models. I didn't have any self-advocacy skills. But you are in a room full of role models and expert self-advocates. So Employees of the Year, this is a golden opportunity to learn from one another, get to know one another, and stay in touch. So, back to chemistry class, a limit was placed on me. I didn't know how to deal with it. I did not know how to move toward a life of no limits in that situation. But now for the good news. We have unprecedented opportunities to create a world of no limits, the world we all know is possible. Advances in technology, the power of social media to help us share knowledge and to organize, research and data analysis tools that will let us really dig deep and look at old problems in new ways and find new solutions. So, the world is changing rapidly, that's a given. We have to be really strong and decisive to make sure that these changes contribute to a world of no limits for people who are blind rather than creating even more barriers. So now, of course, we know that individual blind people can and do overcome all kinds of barriers every day, sometimes in very remarkable ways. But at AFB, we want to make overcoming these barriers easier for all blind people. We had an opportunity to go to the New York Institute for Special Education recently and talk to some kids, and we got some video, and there was a little girl about 6 years old, and the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she so matter-of-factly said, I can be a helicopter pilot if I want to. And so when she's in high school and she walks into her Intro to Aeronautical Engineering class with her white cane in her hand, I don't want some misguided, we'll say so-and-so, telling her she can't do it. So we want to create a world of no limits for kids like her. And in that spirit, we just went through a year-long strategic planning process. We talked to lots of people, both inside and outside of the blindness field. We asked, what can we do as an organization to deliver the greatest long-term value to people who are blind and visually impaired? And we just received a really clear answer that we were told that AFB should focus on identifying the most challenging barriers faced by blind people, to use research and the data analysis tools to understand these barriers, and then create knowledge about these challenging issues, and then share the knowledge in order to make positive changes in the lives of blind people. So, back to our roots, our 1921 roots, really. To apply what we learn in creating solutions and working with partners like all of you to create solutions in the areas of employment and education and access to technology. A key objective of ours is to promote understanding of the issues faced by blind people, and we're going to focus these efforts on key decision makers and influencers in corporate America, in government, in healthcare, education, technology, and the nonprofit sector. So we're going to be reaching out and building relationships across all of these sectors and sharing our knowledge so that better decisions can be made concerning the inclusion of people who are blind in all aspects of our lives. So we literally just completed our strategic plan. Our board of trustees adopted the new plan and our key objectives just 10 days ago, and my senior leadership team and I are here in the home of our new headquarters, Crystal City, Arlington, Virginia, working on drafting our implementation plan. And we'll be sharing the details with all of our partners, including you, and so that we can find ways to work together. But again, the essence is really understand the most challenging issues facing blind people today, to use research and data to identify solutions, and to drive towards those solutions, working in collaboration and partnership with people like you. So we want to level the playing field. We want to create that world of no limits for people who are blind and visually impaired. So stay tuned for the details. American Foundation for the Blind on Facebook. Kirk Adams on Facebook. I am a slight social media addict, so send me a friend request. But thanks for everything you do. Enjoy the rest of the symposium, and don't take no for an answer tomorrow on Capitol Hill. Thanks.
No limits. To learn more about AFB and how you can help us create a world of no limits, go to www.afb.org/no-limits.